Hello fellow YouTubers and welcome to 2026. Happy New Year to you all. This is my first video and for this year, and I've decided to do something a little different for my first one. Welcome to World of Warships Misplays, pam pam pam, a new series dedicated to all those weird moments we have in what has become possibly one of the most contentious games out there right now. And straight away I can tell we're in the I56-44, which was part of the Christmas Steel Will event. You could pick this bad boy up for about 35,000 steel. I say bad boy. She is rather unique. By unique, I mean very difficult to play. We're joined by my clanmate from VTC, Seawolf Hagen, who is putting her through her paces, and I can tell you he's had quite a lot of fun trying to get his head around how to play this boat. I can tell you that the I56-44 was one of 3 B-3 class cruiser submarines built under a naval shipbuilding program adopted just before the outbreak of World War II. Yes, this ship is based on a real Japanese submarine. The I-56 entered service in June 1944, hence the name I-56-44. Initially, she was armed with a 140mm deck gun. The submarine retained this configuration only briefly, however. By October of 1944, she had been converted, or was beginning to be converted, into a carrier for manned torpedoes. Yes, you heard it right, Banzai torpedoes. Anyway, enough about the history. Let's get into this match. As you can see, Hagen has approached the A-cap at a rather standoffish distance. I mean, he's got a detect of something like 7 kilometers on the surface. Something only a French destroyer would understand. Honestly, the detect on this sub is pretty bad, and he's built everything he can into dive capacity. I can tell this straight away by the number on the right side of 130. He gets 90 seconds of dive capacity. This is supposed to be a submarine, right? Now, a Shimakaze is rather conveniently smoked up on the cap right in front of him. So he sent some of his rather intriguing torpedoes. And oh, just like that, he gets a hit. And quite fortunate to do so. I can tell you a little bit about the torpedoes. He says they are 533mm Type 95 Mod 3s. What's that mean in English? They do up to 25,833 damage, but that's after 12 kilometers. Yes, you heard it right. Rather similar to the French torpedo mechanic, where the closer to the target you are, the more damage you do. These kind of work in reverse. The further away from the target you are, the more damage they do. So this submarine needs to be played from the back line. These torps have a range of 15 kilometers in total. Pretty impressive, really. But their detect is 2.1 kilometers, although they do 78 knots. But that Shima had 2.1 kilometers worth of thinking time, and he still got caught by one. Honestly, you can't make this shit up, right? I mean, the launcher itself has a 180-degree turn time. Okay. I can also tell you that up to 3 kilometers, it's 39% damage with these torps, unlike the standard torpedoes. But they nerfed that, of course. The Wargaming nerfed all of that. It's more like 95%. Oh my goodness, he caught him.
Enemy destroyer sunk.
What can I say? What can I say? We are definitely in the hands of a pro here, people. We are definitely in the hands here of a pro. Might have taken a ping, but that Shima is down. And out. Well, that sobered me up fast. Now, back to amazing facts about the I-54. I can't even say it. I56-44. Okay, straight face. Of course, Wargaming nerfed that, so you don't really want to launch torpedoes at targets less than 3 kilometers away from you anymore, because there's something like a 95% damage reduction to them. I think there's a quirk with this particular submarine, but you'd have to head over to Normal Guy of the North's channel and check out his I56-44 plug video, and he will explain it to you better than I can. Here's the thing, the damage increases as the torp goes through the water beyond 8 kilometers. So up to 8 kilometers is 65%. Beyond 8 kilometers, it's around the 80-odd% mark. And then at 12 kilometers and above, you get the 100% damage potential of 25,833. Oh boy. Oh boy.
The enemy team has taken the lead.
Anyway, I digress. As you can see, the enemy has all 3 caps. What a team. I love the way this one team takes all the caps and the other team doesn't. Have you ever seen this behavior before, people? I see it all the time. Anyhow, so Mr. Hagen is doing his thing of sending torps across. The cap is practically clear, and yet his 2 battleships, the Lauria and the Aki, yes, he has an Aki spotting for him. Yeah, spotting for him. You heard that right. The new Yamato carrier, right? And they're all quivering with scared anticipation as the Belau snipes them one at a time. He just lost the Hildebrand to the Belau. There, just check your mini-map. And so these battleships have refused to push in to what is now an open cap that the I56-44 has very politely cleared of all targets. And I think it's now occurring to my friend here, Seawolf, that maybe, just maybe, in his ridiculously easy to spot from space submarine with a detect of 7.1, he's going to have to go in and cap it himself. The battleships have eventually dealt with the Belau and are now plucking up the courage maybe to head further south down the map. Everywhere else, the team is rather split. There's a Bremen heading towards C as they have swept C of all possible opposition, and it's actually looking very good for Team Green at this point. There's a Hawaii, where you would expect a Hawaii to be, behind an island, a very big island, right? Their Montana is heading north, not too sure why. Oh, I see why. Yes, there's a massive push going on in the mid from Team Red. And our friend here has just been detected by the Jacksonville's radar. What could possibly go wrong? Lovely torps on the Vermont. And he's pinging for all he's worth. He's had to go to periscope depth. And as you can see, that timer is ticking down faster than I'm sure he would like. And somehow, those torps missed the Vermont. That's rather unfortunate. But have no fear, for our fearless submariner will get lucky eventually, or so I'm told. Anyway, there's the Jacksonville. And what's he doing? He grounded? He's grounded. I think the Jacksonville, being a light cruiser, of course, and essentially a Worcester on crack, has decided that discretion is the better part of valor. He's noticed the Aki and the Lauria up ahead and has decided to beach it and hit the reverse button, which is great news for our submariner. And Seawolf, being the cunning old sea dog that he is, has decided to take the cap. Good for him. And I don't blame him at all. I would do the same in his situation. This is a good play. This is a good play. Meanwhile, the Bremen has managed to capture C, and we're only almost 10 minutes into the match. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? And Team Red are pushing up the mid. There's no sign of the Montana anymore, who was fleeing north last time we saw him, but clearly got knocked out by the Team Red's push, which probably caught everyone by surprise, including me. The Begonia continues north, even though the C cap is available
About to win.
and it needs taking. And the Plymouth also. Yeah, the Bremen is a little worried. He's a little concerned about the fact that there's probably a 16-gun Colombo heading towards him at a rapid rate of knots. Now, we all know the Colombo, don't we? Of course we do. The Italian battleship with 16 guns that fire sap. Sap shells. And honestly, he would make very short work of the Bremen indeed if he gets hold of him. Meanwhile, checks his spec sheet. Something I haven't really covered with this sub is the mobility. It is incredibly slow. So Seawolf Hagen, the maximum speed this sub can do is 30 knots. The turning radius is 590 meters. The rudder shift is horrible. It's 9 seconds, which, trust me, is obscenely bad for a submarine. Even with the buffs, that's bad. The submerged speed when this thing is underwater is 13 knots. The drive plane shift time is 25.9 seconds, and the dive and ascent speed is pretty slow at 2.9 meters a second. But it's the surface detection that I keep talking about that really is terrible. 7.1 and an air detect of 2.6. Is he going to hit the Vermont this time? Is he going to hit the Vermont this time? Yes, he is. But of course, we're under the 8-kilometer window, so those torps were only doing 60-odd% of their damage. Hence the relatively low numbers, luckily for the Vermont. But that's okay, because he's put more fish in the water. There are more fish in the sea. And he's got the ping on there. Okay, 2 hits, 20,000 damage, so they're doing roughly 10k a pop. Of course, Vermont does have some torpedo reduction on that ship, so I'm taking that into consideration. But there's a lot of mathematics going on here. And the Vermont is now running. He's had enough. He's heading north. He's had enough of being pinged and exploded by an I56-44. Well, meanwhile, the Colombo completely glitched the Bremen. Did I miss that? Yeah, I missed that. Okay, fairly predictable. Fairly predictable. And Team Green have now got 3 ships left. So Team Red's 5. Oh, but we have a winner.
Enemy battleship destroyed.
Because the further away from an I56-44 you get, the more damage its torpedoes do. And Hagen's managed to tailpipe the Vermont pretty hard there. And of course, the Vermont had no support from his cruisers or his destroyers or his submarines because, well, the subs and the destroyers are now out of the game. And it's all getting a bit serious. We have a Begonia, a Jacksonville, a Plymouth, and a Napoli still in the game. And our plucky little Submariner is now opening fire on the Begonia, who is heading towards him at a fairly rapid rate of knots. He's going to ping him. And the Begonia is about to come into detect range. Being detected. Hagen throws a hard to port and goes to periscope depth. No, he's diving. Okay. But he gets a colossal hit on the Begonia with his homing torps and takes the Begonia out with one massive death strike. Wow. Wow. And he's still got 10k health left.
Problem solved, sir.
Meanwhile, the Napoli now wants to avenge the Begonia. He's heading down towards him at a rapid rate of knots. And even though Team Green now have 2 caps, it's looking very bad for Team Green. Unfortunately, the early cap advantage of Team Red was never quite counteracted by Team Green. Those torps look very, very sexy on the Napoli. Remove the ping, man! Remove the ping! Oh no, those are gonna, yeah, but rip Napoli in my opinion. The range is quite short, but Napoli doesn't have torpedo protection.
In 5 minutes.
What just happened? He got Yamato'd. The Aki stole the frag. But I have to say, the I56-44 has racked up 156,667 damage. And they're still losing. The Plymouth is taking C. Very sensible. It's going for his solo warrior here. There's always one on every team, isn't there? And with the scores where they're at, I don't see any way out for Team Green. This is pretty much over, isn't it? And my teammate had quite the match. Quite the match, my friend. High-fiving you on this one. Quite the match. But honestly, the I56-44 is a bit of a handful. And not the easiest sub to play. In fact, one of the hardest subs to master. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I have doing the commentary. He got over 1 million credits in the end for a loss, which tells you all you need to know. First blood death strike. Top of the team, of course, and 2,563 XP for a loss. Oh my god. Oh my god, what would he have got for a win, people? Almost 4k easy, I'm sure. Maybe more. Maybe more. 155,825 damage. My goodness. Okay, well, what can I say? This has been World of Warships Misplays. My name's LoneGun, and welcome to 2026.